Any health-related information on the following show provides general information only. Content presented on any show by any host or guest should not be substituted for a doctor's advice. Always consult your physician before beginning any new diet, exercise, or treatment program.
You're doing everything right. You're exercising, you're eating clean, you think, and the weight's not coming off. There might be a system in your body that is wreaking havoc on your results, and it might be inflammation or histamines, and we're going to dive into it today. Welcome to Accelerated Health with Sara Banta, where we cut through the noise, fast track your journey to better health. I'm your host, Sara, certified nutritionist and certified by the National Association of Nutritional Professionals and founder and CEO of Accelerated Health Products. I'm here to share the latest on supplements, wellness hacks, and natural health solutions that actually work or that could backfire for boosting energy, detoxing, balancing hormones, and everything in between. I am so excited. We've got not just a brilliant human being, but someone I lean into when I'm having my own health issues, Teri Cochrane. She's a dedicated clinician, advisor, speaker, and author of Wildatarian Diet. Everyone needs to read it. It's not a difficult book, but it explains things super simply. She advises world-class athletes and some of the top doctors and influencers around the world. She is on the cutting edge. So when you've got those symptoms, they don't make sense. She will pinpoint them. Welcome back, Teri. How are you today?
Hi, Sara. I'm great. Good to be with you again.
You too. And you know me, I eat clean. I do all the right things, and I'll come to you going, what's going on in my body? And you'll pinpoint it. And your brilliance is unmatched. So I'm so excited to be sharing your knowledge with everyone today. I want to touch on histamines and inflammation. You know, I grew up in a family where my sister had allergies. I never had anything. I had a lot of other issues, but allergies was not my thing. And so when you have told me, well, it's a histamine issue in you, Sara, and it's showing up other than just sniffles and watery eyes, I'm like, wait, what? What's going on? And this world has made it even more prevalent in populations that have never had those issues. So let's talk about what are histamines and how it can wreak havoc on your body.
Okay, so histamine is a really big deal, especially in the COVID environment, because the clinical literature suggests, and also what we're seeing anecdotally in my practice, is that the spike protein has turned on the histamine receptor genes. And like you said, your sister had allergies, you didn't, but you may have been experiencing histamine in a quiet way. We call it sneezing on the inside. And so to your question, what is histamine? Histamine is an inflammatory response. The body is seeing a perceived threat, and so it will create mast cells. Those are the cells that hold histamine, and then poof, it will release histamine as an inflammatory response to a perceived threat. So for example, when you get stung by a bee, it's going to, and that leaves its little stinger, you're going to have a histamine response. So then that stinger can be pushed out of the way. The problem is that histamine has become systemic and chronic, especially I'm seeing over the last year when I call it the different flavors of COVID. It seemed like this last generation of the variants seemed to be really histaminergic. And so you don't have to just have an allergic response to feel histamine. So histamine has been linked to idiopathic anxiety disorder. That means, I don't know why I'm all of a sudden super anxious. Insomnia, lymphatic stagnation, heart palpitations, increase in estrogen, because histamine and estrogen play together, increase in serotonin, which again, back to that anxiety. It can relate in the fact that you can't see as well because histamine increases epinephrine, and epinephrine dilates your pupils. So all of a sudden your vision is different. It can support hair loss because when we have histamine, the hair follicle opens up and it's sort of like a tree root that's just undergone a huge storm and it doesn't have that foundational stability. Poof, hair loss. Histamine can also turn on viruses and pathogens because it is an excitatory neurotransmitter, and it intersects with sulfur, one of my other favorite imbalancers, that can cause a lot of GI distress. So it's everywhere.
And a lot of those symptoms I've experienced. The vision loss, the hair falling out. So many women are coming to me talking about their hair loss because they care about what they look like. And we're going to be talking about weight loss. That is obviously an issue. When thinking back to when I was growing up, I was bloated all the time. I had digestive issues. I'm sure it was related, right?
Absolutely.
And when I saw you a couple weeks ago, you mentioned California and the olive trees and the pollen. We just had the worst couple days of wind, and I was so clogged up and stuffy and just inflammation. I didn't have a cough. I didn't have a sore throat. It was just like, okay, what is going on and what is being stirred up? And then you add in the diet of what you're taking in that could be healthy foods that are overloading the system even more. So why don't we talk about some of those foods that most people, whoever's listening here, they're not eating junk food. They're eating foods intentionally. So what are the healthy high histamine foods that are going to make things worse?
Okay, so generally we do teach people how to eat counter seasonally. And for our California clients, we are saying, don't eat olives, don't eat olive oil right now. That's a problem, right? Because of the olive and almonds. Also, you guys are sprouting almond trees as well there. But generally, the foods that are all the time histaminergic are those that are fermented and sprouted. It's going to elicit a histamine response. So people are doing a lot of sourdough bread. I had somebody, a husband and wife team that came in today, or yesterday, excuse me, and they were so histamine, but they were eating sourdough with yogurt, which is a high histamine, with bananas, which also is high histamine and latex. They're doing avocado toast, which is high histamine, and they're saying, how can I have this histamine response? I am eating so clean. Well, you're eating high histamine foods. So avocados, papaya even is a high histamine food, bananas. In the world of vegetables, sulfuric compounds found in cruciferous vegetables intersect with histamine. So kale, I call it killer kale, broccoli, arugula, bok choy, those can be histaminergic. In the foods of the beans, chickpea is a very high histamine food, so is peanuts in the legume family. Again, in dairy, anything that has a probiotic. So probiotic users beware. Many probiotics are high histamine. They're histamine liberators. So you need to look to the probiotics that are low histamine. We like the gut-brain axis. My microbiome labs love that one. It actually helps to support dopamine and serotonin in the gut. And then in terms of fish, tuna, mahi, shellfish, high histamine, leftovers, high histamine. So it's everywhere and it's pervasive. And all of those things all those symptoms that I have shared with you previously, just before we talked about the foods, my clients have come in with any and all of combination of those symptoms, and the doctors are stumped.
Yep. And before I saw you, I normally work out fasted, then I eat my food, and then I do a podcast or get right into my work. And I was at the stage where I was actually not wanting to eat my food because my brain was feeling good. I'd have my meal and I felt this brain fog come on and I couldn't see my computer screen. And just one diet switch you told me I needed to do. I have clear focus right now, and this is post-meal, Teri. So
Yay.
thank you. I'm almost afraid to go back to what I was eating before. But anyways, when it relates to weight loss, where does histamine and inflammation play into sabotaging those goals? And is it liver related as well?
Yes. So let's start with why histamine is related to a weight loss. It's a saboteur. Okay. The reason is, there are manifold reasons, but let's go directly to insulin. Histamine has a direct impact on insulin function. Histamine has a direct impact on the LDL receptors of cholesterol, cholesterol being a backbone to hormones. Histamine increases estrogen, estrogen increases histamine, it's bidirectional. So when you have those three things and then histamine stagnates in the lymph, and all of a sudden, I've literally had clients, the client that came in to me yesterday gained 15 pounds in 30 days, 30 days, because she started eating all these healthy foods and making sourdough bread every day with her avocado and her bananas and yogurt and all of those things. And so what we're seeing is it can be any one of those things, but especially in women, we're seeing a combination of those. So if you're insulin resistant, you're going to wear it. Insulin is considered the fat storage hormone. If you're high histamine, you're going to be potentially producing more estrogen. Estrogen is a cell proliferator. It's going to put weight around women's buttocks, hips, gut. Okay. And if you're having a lymphatic situation, you're just going to feel super fluffy like the Pillsbury Dough person because you have just completely gone inflamed.
Yeah. I actually had a client voice me yesterday, and she says, Sara, I know I've gained some weight, but do your other women talk about feeling puffy? Do they use that word? And she's like, or is it just me? I go, no, it's everybody. And I love that word because it's not fat. It's just everything's stagnant and it's just swollen and nothing's moving. Okay, so where does the liver play into histamine and inflammation?
So the liver, I'm going to get a little nerdy.
Yes.
Okay. So histamine intersects with phase 1 liver detoxification, the genes of CYP2D6, CYP1A2, CYP34A, which has to do with estrogen. CYP2D6 has to do with turmeric. That's a big one. Oh my gosh, you guys, please stop taking your turmeric.
Yeah.
Because we're so histaminergic because of COVID. I never had any histamine issues until COVID came along, and then I really had to go figure that out. So when you intersect with phase 1 liver detoxification, there's 2 phases to liver detoxification. Phase 1, that creates these, it's kind of like spring cleaning. You pull out your drawers so that you can put them back in and pack them away safely. When it intersects with phase 1 liver detoxification slows down and intersects with histamine. So now your liver can't detoxify. Then there's genes that relate to phase 2 liver detoxification. Sulfation is one of them, right? So we have all sorts. We have within phase 2, there's 6 little pieces. I'm not going to get into all of them, but sulfation is one of them. And so now you've got phase 1 that's clogged up. Histamine is up. Histamine is going to impair sulfation. So that's going to impact phase 2 liver detoxification. All of a sudden, your liver's like, I'm out. I'm going to send it to the lymph. But the lymph is full of histamine. And so the lymph says, I can't move. I'm going to send it back to the liver. And so we got this ping pong effect of this lymph liver situation. And then they just send it to the gut. And then the gut goes, I don't know what to do with you. I'm going to send it right back. So we have this triad of this retox and inflammatory response that is a real problem. It's a real problem. So we have to really be mindful of how, and my phone agrees, it just gave me the ring. It says ding, yes, it's all true. That we have to really understand, one, our genetics. I cannot emphasize enough, and I'm not talking about the genes that you get from these very big companies that are talking about, let's tell you what your genes are. My experience is that we do it differently. And Sara, you and I have talked about this. It's the symphony of genes. It's how do they play together? How are they concentrated? What are your big sharks? And then really understanding it so it becomes a tool of empowerment, not a tool of fear.
And it's amazing when you dial that in, you feel like $1,000,000. I mean, I turned 50 a month ago and I feel better than I did when I was 20. I actually was talking to a friend yesterday about the fact that when I was 18 years old, I was sitting in class and this cute boy that I liked behind me said, oh, look, you're going bald. And I'm like, oh my gosh. And it was the start of hair loss. And by the time I was 26, I thought I was going to be wearing a wig at the age of 50. And my hair isn't amazing, but it's thicker than it was when I was 18. And that's because I'm doing everything right. And it's not necessarily that you're taking all the vitamins and the nutrients in. It's, is your body actually using it? Is it able to absorb it? And you and I have talked about that, where you're like, you need to back off on some of the proteins you're taking. I'm like, well, I got to take it in, but my body wasn't using it. It wasn't doing what it was supposed to. So with histamines, everyone's listening going, well, I don't have allergies. I don't know if I have this issue. What are the symptoms that they should look for?
Okay, allergies are just one of the many, many symptoms of histamine. Arrhythmia, tachycardia, fast heartbeat. You get up in the middle of the night, you can't go back to sleep. You're anxious. You feel like you catastrophize a little bit. Like if something doesn't close the loop, like you couldn't get to your mobile banking, didn't let you in, and instead of saying, okay, I'll fix the password, oh my gosh, it's a catastrophe. We have, again, the cankles, the swelling. If you're swelling, if you're feeling pain under here, we have lymph nodes that go all through here, the largest lymph nodes right here, right at the center of our chest.
Mm-hmm.
If you're feeling fluffy in your inguinal area, if you put on socks and you can see the sock band mark, you see your bra band mark, you got lymph. That's histamine stagnating your lymph. If your period gets a little wonky, if you start getting depressed, if you actually start having gut issues, you eat something, you get bloated. Bloating is very related because histamine intersects with sulfur, sulfur intersects with hydrogen sulfide, and then all of a sudden people are treating you for SIBO. It's histamine and sulfur, and the SIBO was a secondary byproduct of this hydrogen sulfide and sulfur messing up your microbiota. So those things all play your eyesight. Oh my gosh, I can't see as well. You've experienced this foggy headedness. Today I saw a client right before we went on air. She's doing so much better, but she now knows, she's so tuned in. She said, oh, you know what? I ate those leftovers of brown rice pasta 3 days in, and my brain started doing something different. I'm like, good for you. You understood what it was.
Yeah.
Right. So she asked me, Teri, how long should I eat leftovers for? I said, well, if it's a grain or a bean, 24 hours, because they're going to ferment naturally. Right. I don't love eating things more than 36 hours. You can always freeze things, folks. Freeze it. And then it's going to stop that histamine load.
So a quick question on that. What if it's uncooked meat? What if I'm defrosting a steak or two steaks that are packaged together, and I eat one right now and the other one I put in the fridge, it's not cooked yet?
Yeah, not cooked. Still don't do it more than 3 days, just because it oxidizes. So less of a histamine, but you have an oxidization because of the blood.
Okay. So now let's talk about supplements, the bad and the good and the ugly. So, you were talking about sulfur, and there's a lot of people taking glutathione and NAC and DIM and turmeric. Turmeric is one of the top 5 most sold supplements in the United States. People have arthritis, so they take turmeric. Let's talk about the bad first.
Okay. So again, we are living on a different planet for many reasons, but one of them is we are very histamine centric right now. COVID did that to us. And I just want to back up a little bit, because I think one of the things that is really central to what is histamine is we don't feel safe, and so we're going to mount an attack. And so this is a safety mechanism for us. Really, really interesting how it came along with COVID, right? When we were desocialized and we were made to feel very unsafe. And then there was actually a genetic imprint that got expressed to make us feel biologically unsafe.
Yeah.
So to your question about supplements, turmeric is bad on multiple fold. It is, especially if you have the CYP2D6 gene, but even if you don't, it is a high histamine liberator. It is an oxalate, which then can create all sorts of bad things like cysts and biofilm and fibrils and thyroid nodules. It's not great. We have all of the sulfuric, glutathione. You guys, buyer beware with these glutathione IVs. We had somebody who ended up with MCAS, which is mast cell activation syndrome. Very significant issue because of glutathione IVs, NMN, NAD, NAC, be careful. We also have to be careful with over-methylating right now. A lot of B vitamins are becoming buzzy because of the histamine related to sulfation, which impairs methylation, and it makes you over-methylate. Even if you have impaired methylation genes, be careful with the B12s and the folate. Be careful with B vitamins. But I think the big ones that I see all the time are turmeric, for sure. A lot of glutathione, big time. Glutathione and NAC and NAD that's being used so much in IVs right now. Those are big ones. Also probiotics.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that is a multiple billion-dollar business. You have to understand the type of probiotic you're taking and prepare yourself to take probiotics by first lowering the histamine response. So let's look at the counter. What are good antihistamine supplements? I like quercetin with bromelain. It is a mast cell stabilizer. If you have a DAO variant, a DAO enzyme is a must. Magnesium, it's a mineral, but it calms the adrenals. And guess what adrenals do? They put out the fire for histamine, so our adrenals are being taxed along the way. I really like sea salt as a calmer for the adrenals indirectly. Then we have actually biotin, which is actually really good as an antihistamine. And then we're telling our clients, use your over-the-counter nasocrom, which is a cromolyn, which is also a mast cell stabilizer. Claritin and Allegra, those are H1, H2 blockers. We need them. Do a combination. Be careful with Benadryl because that really, really slows your detoxification pathways down. It can help you, but it slows it down.
Okay. Well, before we go, I want to touch on the wild, wild west of peptides because, I mean, you mentioned NAD, which a lot of people are shooting themselves up with, but all of these other peptides, it is an amazing tool. It can be, but you have to wrap it right in your words. So let's talk about that and histamines.
Okay, so what many people don't know is peptides. Many of these peptides are histamine liberators, many of them. And you have to be very, very careful. One that is not is the GHKCU, the copper peptide. That's actually a mast cell stabilizer. So again, in the world of peptides, we really like copper paired, the GHKCU paired with other histamine, with other peptides because it tends to modulate the histamine response. But you have to be really careful with peptides. Everyone, I've had, again, clients who went to longevity experts that are very well known, but we're not looking at the bioindividual capacity of that person to tolerate sulfur, histamine, phase 1 detoxification, fats, proteins. Peptides are short amino acids. So when you don't understand that, you can really be doing damage.
Mm-hmm.
The GLP peptide is a huge histamine liberator.
So with that, the GLP-1, but is that the GLP-2 and the GLP-3? Is it the GLP-1 part? Because that is part of all three of the formulas.
I haven't done the deep science on that, but I would venture to guess that any GLP needs to be wrapped.
I have friends that have tried the GLP-1 and they gained weight.
Yep.
They felt horrible. And so with tying this back to weight gain and histamine. So if someone says they're doing all the right things, but it's not working, they need to reduce the foods that you talked about and add in some of the supplements you talked about, get rid of the others. Is there anything else they need to be doing?
I think movement is super important. So you've got to move. Really, really move your body because that initiates lymphatic flow. The lymph doesn't have a pump on its own. It's not going to pump you out of trouble. You've got to pump it yourself, and that's through movement. Understanding the lymphatic massage yourself with the guasa stone. I really like that. I think it's important that every night, especially in the pollen season, we shower. We take a shower before we go to bed. If we've been outside, there's pollen sitting on us. We've just had in the Washington, D.C. area, we had snow last week. We're 80 degrees. So our pollen just went like this. It didn't do this spring. It went up like this.
Wow.
So if you're outside, there's pollen hanging out on you. Simple, simple things. Another thing is to keep your liver detoxified. I take my alkaline, my green juice every day with wild lights, vitamin C in low amounts, not high amounts. My cucumber and cilantro juice, that's non-negotiable for me. When I travel, I have cilantro drops, and I have, I like this company, Amazing Greens. I used to love alkaline greens, but they've stopped making that supplement, but it's just alfalfa, barley, and wheatgrass. Amazing for the liver. Now, during grass season, I'm going to stop that because then it's going to be cross contaminating with the pollen of the grasses. But you've got to detoxify the liver. A little bit of castor oil in the liver if you can tolerate it, and in your lymph nodes all over. Start with small amounts. Charcoal. Oh my God, that is such a winner. I have it in my purse in case I eat something that doesn't like me, or if I'm going to go outside and watch some kids play baseball. We're getting attacked with pollen and other things that are histamine centric that we need to get our hands around.
Yeah, I'm traveling to Australia in a couple days, and you better believe I've got the accelerated cellular detox powder and all of the things that you were talking about, just to make sure, because who knows, with the radiation and the flight and then the change of environment, I'm going to be hit with so many things, and I'm feeling strong, I'm feeling confident, and partly because of you and what you've taught me. Before we go, Teri, tell people what you do. When they see you, what do they expect? Because you wear so many hats and you are so intuitive, and you're always on the cutting edge. There's no one out there like you. And I wish you could clone yourself because you're so hard to get to see. But what will they expect if they come and see you?
Well, we really are body interpreters. What we do is we just listen to the signals of your body through applied kinesiology. I really do believe if you can't get in to see me, please do an epigenetic test. We're extending this sale on the epigenetic analysis. I think everyone should do it. It's very, very cost effective, and it's going to give you your kind of your landmines, and also how to stay away from them. We're going to tell you, this isn't good for you. This isn't good for you. This might be supportive. These foods definitely aren't red lighted. These are green and yellow lighted. I think that those, just even epigenetic analysis outside of seeing me consultatively, when you do see us, we use applied kinesiology. I've created a method called iterative applied kinesiology, because the way the body answers one question for us leads us to ask the next question of the body. I think that's a very powerful tool. So we basically listen to your body, and then we give you a food and supplementation spreadsheet that says go, no, and we support you with what goes in, on, or around you. Somebody asked me the other day, should I put almond oil on my face? Heck no. That's an oxalate, and we're in the DC season, and it's a tree pollen. So no, not right now, and not at all. Or mushrooms. Mushrooms are a big deal. If you have candida, if you have toenail fungus, if you have SIBO, don't do mushrooms. It's a fungus. It's going to build that mold.
And people drink mushroom coffee thinking they're making the right choice. I mean, it's so confusing out there. And that's why more people, it's almost like the more you're into your health, the worse you're off, because you're making all the wrong, right decisions. So, well, I always love talking to you and learning from you, and I'm so grateful for you. Before we go, can you tell people where they can follow you, find your book, and work with you?
Absolutely. So my book's on Amazon. We have Instagram and Facebook, and we've got my website at tericochrane.com. We aim to put out a lot of information that's not anywhere. As Sara noted, we are very unique. We're unicorns in the world of how does my body treat me, and we help you decode that, and then we help you become your own body interpreter.
No, you're not going to see any trendy TikTok flair from Teri, because she's giving you the real deal. So thanks for joining us today, Teri.
All right, take care. Have a safe flight. Enjoy your trip.
In a world of influencers and not knowing who to trust, Teri is the one I trust. She is amazing with pinpointing things, even the healthy things we're doing that are backfiring. And I'm a perfect example. I love doing a little, then I do a lot. And sometimes that will backfire. She mentioned a few supplements: magnesium, quercetin, liver support, copper, and charcoal. All of those things can be found at Accelerated Health Products. The Accelerated Cellular Detox Powder, as I mentioned, has the charcoal, but it has triphala and some other ingredients to help with inflammation in the gut, help reduce that, help with bowel movements, balance out diarrhea, constipation. I've had people say, oh my gosh, I run to the bathroom all the time, and your detox powder gave me solid bowel movements. Then I have people that say, I am so constipated and your Accelerated Cellular Detox Powder helped my movements. The Accelerated Liver Care works with that. It gives it that support to deal with these histamines and the inflammation and the lymph. You've got to support your liver to support your lymph. So you get rid of the puffiness that you might be mistaking for excess weight gain. Puffy and fat are not the same. Now, if your lymph is backed up long enough, it will turn into fat, yes. And if your liver's backed up, you won't be able to process fat, and the fat is going to go to fat. I actually had someone on email me today about her LDL going up. The doctor's advice: take some fiber. Well, her LDL might be going up because of these high histamines and inflammation and the liver not being able to do its job. The liver's where you have your metabolism, your T4 convert into T3. That's your metabolism. If your liver's backed up, that's not happening. That leads to weight gain. So all of these things are important to look at. I always point you to the Accelerated Food Guide that outlines oxalates, sulfur, moldy foods, lectins, and the wild meats that you should tend to if you can. It's all about pinpointing what is your trigger. So thanks for tuning in. Before you leave, let me know what sparked a question in you. Did something hit home? I'm sure it did with Teri. Leave a comment below. And if you haven't joined the free group coaching on Telegram, do so today. It's a place where I answer your questions every day, and you're a part of an amazing supportive community. For all of my articles, coaching, and the supplements mentioned, you can head to SaraBantaHealth.com or AcceleratedHealthProducts.com. Don't forget to use coupon code podcast10 on your first order. And most of you listen every week, but you still haven't subscribed. Click that button below so you're notified when every new podcast is released. You can find all of the episodes on Spotify, Apple, YouTube, E360, iHeartRadio, over 100 other different podcast channels. Just search up Accelerated Health with Sara Banta. And remember, I'm live every Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Join me next time for more ways to unlock your health potential.